Hey guys, we're here at our partners at Strom Motorsports to show you a little bit what they do and a lot of cool stuff out here. We're out here with the owner, Mr. Strom himself, Brett.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. So yeah, show us around. It looks like you got all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of spread out right now. We have our M4 GT4 race cars. One of those is going to live in Utah this year.
Awesome.
And that car in front just came back from Dubai. So that's some of our international stuff that we were doing.
Yeah, 24-hour Creventic, right?
Yeah,
on that one?
Yeah, that one. We used to race this one in World Challenge, and then that one went all over the world, Australia, Middle East.
And then obviously you guys got the very, very cool B46s. So from an overall perspective, from people who have never heard about a B46, what is a B46?
So those GT4 cars I was mentioning outside, those cars work very well for pro racing. A lot of clients want to run them at a club level, and it makes sense because it's a factory-built car that has a user manual and you know what you're going to get.
That's basically something you can go to BMW and you can buy it.
Yes.
As a race car, straight.
Yeah,
okay.
You can buy it as a race car, and it comes with support from them, meaning like you can email them to get answers on stuff, but they have very, it's like 800 pages of documentation.
Right.
There's updates for the cars. Other people have them, and they're identical cars, so it's easy to get the knowledge on them, setups and things. And you just know that when it shows up, like, it's a race car, so it's never perfect, but it's been developed. Things have been sorted out. You're not building a car from scratch and then have to figure all the stuff out. So this is our attempt to do that for club racing, wherein we fix the problem of, obviously, BMW factory race parts are very expensive, high power, very heavy, expensive to run, burn through tires like crazy. A set of slicks on those will last about an hour and a half, like on the good side.
So the idea with the B46 is basically someone who wants a very turnkey race car, as if it came from BMW, in an affordable way at the club level. That's the goal.
Yes. It's fully supported, which means a lot to people who race a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anytime you buy, quote, like a club race car or whatever, unfortunately it is an art, and some guy is sitting there hand fitting everything. This is meant to be that, like, something breaks on it, you can just either buy the part from us or buy the part from someone like you, our partner that we use their part, and it just bolts in. And you don't have to, it's not some weird thing that you gotta hand make or whatever. The chassis, for example, all the parts are laser cut, the cage is CNC bent and cut. So in the same way that if you crash the shit out of a Porsche Cup car, you can call Porsche and you can get a tub. And then you can take all your parts and put it on the new tub. So we're gonna have tubs for these. So very intent on every step is like, this has to be reproducible time and time again. So.
See, let's say someone places an order, what can they estimate, as far as by the time they make a deposit and then they get the car?
We're working really hard to get it down to about 6 weeks. So like I said, because all the chassis are the same, we're not really giving options on that. We're trying to pre-produce chassis and then we just bolt in all the parts. We're giving people options on like interior paint color, but unfortunately we ran into a little bit of a hurdle that we have to make one change to the chassis if it's a sequential versus a manual. But we chose to use a Hollinger sequential because they're really nice, and we have local support for them. So we're using that, which did make it so you can't see it, but we had to cut a spot in the trans tunnel to fit it. So otherwise, we're really trying to get down to building these in 6 weeks of just assembly, and then we run it on the dyno and we deliver it, and it should be ready to go. So, and it's pre-set up to handle good, and So one of the choices we made with this car, what do we do to both leave speed on the table? If someone buys the car and they're like, well, I want it to be a little faster for this, so we chose to just leave all the body panels steel. The roof is carbon, but all the body panels are steel. So if somebody wants to add more speed, you just change the body panels. Not that expensive, easy to get, because we really had to make a decision of where to spend the resources on with the car. Electronics, not easy to upgrade. So it's got really nice electronics, Motec ECU, dual displays, solid state power module for the car. Like, it's got badass everything.
I even heard it has air jacks.
Yeah, it has air jacks, has the same stuff that BMW uses in their M4s. So it's all, this car is a sequential, so it's also got an air pump. But
so you could do either a manual or sequentials based on whatever the customer.
Yeah, we're giving that option. The manual cars work really good because the engine power band is so broad. When we build the cars, we still are using a used engine and a used trans, which cuts the cost massively. And we're trying to make the cars as cheap as we can. It still takes a huge amount of work to build them.
Plus the R&D too. I mean, you guys have developed, looks like a lot of one-off pieces.
Yeah, nothing is handmade, within reason. So obviously we hand make the wiring harness, but it's generally a mil-spec harness. All these we have templates for, and there's like 10 sets of these right now. Like we made them all at once. Every thing on it is factory level. It's like, what would BMW do? What would Porsche do? Sometimes it's better than what they've done, frankly. Because there's certain things you're like, that was a bit of a shortcut, but okay. You know, they had to make decisions too on that stuff for where to put their resources.
Yeah, obviously the E46 is a super capable platform. I mean, we sell parts to it all day long. And this is just like the turnkey solution. So just run us through the, the power plant, the suspension, like what?
The S54 is one of the best engines ever designed and built. 100%. But, you know, a junkyard one is still expensive, and I wasn't interested in building engines because it's very labor intensive. It's like, what can we get that we can just stick in the car? So we were looking at modern stuff. So we fell on the B48 4-cylinder. We looked at the N20. That thing's a piece of shit, unfortunately. They went modular and everything, so it's the 4-cylinder version of what their 6-cylinder is, but it's got a forged crank. It's really strong. You know, the pistons are probably the weak point on it, but they're still more than strong enough. Brembo is one of our partners on this, and these are 6-piston, 355 kit. We tested other brakes. We tested a 4-piston, we tested the 6-piston. What I love about these, and the reason we chose these in the end, a lot of pad surface area, so the pad does last a long time, but the big thing is these ones I can do a 32 mil thick rotor or a 35 mil width rotor. So guys who are endurance racing these and aren't necessarily worried about an extra pound of rotating mass, which matters, but then they can get that, and the rotor costs the same, so they can get that longevity out of it. So again, trying to give people some options for what they're gonna use the car for. And we tested it a lot. We ended up sticking with stock rear brakes. So you have adjustable brake bias on the pedal, very precise, and it actually, the car tells you what your current bias adjustment is. It monitors the pressure at a certain level of brakes so you can accurately set it every time. One of the things with this car is updatable software. So one of the things I'm working on that's pretty close to being done is it actually tells you which direction you should move the bias. So it's tracking your wheel speeds, it's tracking lockups. Again, I'm trying to make it so that just an everyday user can use the car without an engineer sitting there looking at data. The screens are giving you a lot of data and you don't have to hook up a laptop to figure out what's going on. Yeah, the brake bias one is a big one because people, unless you've driven a lot of this kind of stuff, you're not gonna know. It's hard to feel if it should be more forward or more back, but it hugely changes the performance of the car. It'll help people improve as drivers too, because, you know, I look at this from a perspective always of like, we're going racing to have fun. Like people take it very seriously, and I take it seriously in a certain way, but the point is we're doing it to have fun. So, and improve as people too, like, you know, and yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about this car is it does help people become better drivers. It's not just a fast car.
Yeah, thanks for showing us around. Obviously, these are really cool, and you know, you got a great product here coming on. So if someone was interested in this, where do they go? How do they get a hold of you?
StromMotorsports.com, and then we have a B46 page that's specific that actually describes a lot of stuff. I've tried to distill what the car is into that, so we're still working on it, but it tells you, you know, the main specs and what you get and all that. So yeah, just go to StromMotorsports.com. We don't have a massive social media presence because we're too busy building stuff. So we're working on ramping that up too. We might be doing some cool stuff pretty soon here. Follow us on Instagram as we're coming out with these, and we have a slight back order of cars right now, but like I said, we're really working on the production side so we can crank these things out.
But you also do work on other people's race cars.
Yes, yeah, we do race car service. We used to just build kind of anything, but now we've narrowed it down to this, and then we take care of people's track cars and we do track support and that stuff. So.
Well, sweet. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for showing us around.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.